The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. From hot dogs to cool kitties, this is Darkside of the Pooch.
Hey, welcome back to Darkside of the Pooch. He is on the left side of our YouTube channel. He is Dr. Rab Stewart from the Rossbridge Animal Hospital, 208-0301. You've been watching the show, hearing the show. If you're new to our show, welcome in. It's a wonderful show where we talk about pet care. And, of course, we go to the Rossbridge Animal Hospital out there. They're the best. Dr. Rab's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. And, of course, the show is always sponsored by Ed's Pet World, but also by, of course, Sasquatch Toys and Comics down there in Citation Lane in beautiful Homewood. I went down to Ed's yesterday. They've been open for 50 years. They love to see you down there for exotic pets and everything else that you need. Now, most of the pets you'll be getting at Ed's, you can't take into Dr. Rab's office because you're a dog and a kitty place. Do you do anything besides dogs and kitties?
No. If you bring anything else in here, everybody will run away screaming.
Okay, so if I find a bird or a tortoise or something that obviously needs some medical help, and I find it remotely close to your hospital, you're an animal hospital. I'm going to take it to your hospital and I'm going to go, Dr. Rab, what's am I supposed to do with this thing here? Or I'm not talking about a wild animal like a raccoon or something like that, but I guess I am. So what
if you find something in the wild, it's a wild animal.
You're not going to let it die. I mean, you're going to treat it, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, even if you know what to do with it, even if it's something like you could put a small little splint or something on or something like that, you're not going to.
No, I could lose my license. We can't treat wild animals here. There was a guy that I try to be as vague as I can, that got in serious trouble for bringing in wildlife, and he lost his premise license. So when you lose your premise license, you can't work out of your building anymore. It's a public health issue.
Yeah.
So wild animals, non-domesticated animals come in here. We cannot treat them.
So you can't treat them, but you can aim them in the right direction. If someone calls you and says, "Hey, listen, I found something," you would probably say, "What? Call Auburn or call Oak Mountain."
Unfortunately, there is no direction.
Yeah, it doesn't Oak Mountain? Oak Mountain has PETA or something like that. Don't they have TEARS, the ethical treatment of animals, something like that? They have something. I know Auburn has a whole school for this, don't they? Where they take their eagles are always banged up eagles.
Well, that's different because they have a raptor center. Like they have a domesticated bird program, and maybe they have some type of exemption where if you take in a wild bird, they can do something, but that's not, you can't do that if you're just a general practice. And Oak Mountain had something, and I don't know if it's even still operational. I know that you could at one time take birds there, but I don't think you could take like a wild dog, like a fox or anything like that. Any type of reptile. I don't think they would take those.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, wild animals usually, it's survival of the fittest.
Well, if you want to bring them over here, I just got some popsicle sticks and some glue, and we'll make a splint or something for your small little animal. Sometimes that's the circle of life, and it's God's way of saying that maybe a turkey vulture should come down and just take the thing and put it out of its misery.
Everything's got to eat, man.
Very good. It's all about protecting the license for both of us. So I got news for you. So we're good with that. We've had a lot of hurricanes going on in Florida. Of course, what everyone's been talking about with Helene, and of course, this last one, Milton. And I've had several emails here, info@tonykurreradio.net. And really not questions, but pet owners saying, listen, if you own a pet, it's your responsibility. If you leave, the animal must leave with you. If you stay, the animal can stay with you. And that goes for snakes, wildlife, squirrels, whatever you got in a cage in your house. And then we're talking mainly cats and dogs. But for some reason, and we see these stories all the time, and it's unfortunate. We see a lot of these stories where people and most of the time, I guess they're cats. Maybe they're outdoor cats. Maybe when it starts raining, they have a hard time finding the cat. They're like, okay, we got an hour to get the hell out of here. Are we going to look for this cat, or are we just going to leave it? And in most cases, I understand that human life's more important than a cat life, and they let it go and they come back and hope it's still there. But this is why we have hurricane warnings 3 and 4 or 5 days ahead of time before the rains actually start. While it's still sunny, you have an opportunity to get your animals together and create a hurricane plan. And so I looked up a couple things, and I would love for you to mention this, because we have natural disasters here. We know when tornadoes are coming for the most part. If you stay, the animal stays. If you go, you must go. Talk about practicing your evacuation plans. I know a lot of people think that's ridiculous. I've practiced a fire a thing here at the house because my son made me do it. He's like, I want to practice. So we had the fire alarms going off, and we jumped through the windows. We have 3 different exit strategies just in case we have any issues, and we feel good about that. He can sleep well at night. And of course, I can't microchip my boy, but you can do it with your pets. But just talk about some of the things we can do to help our pets through natural disasters.
Having a go bag for your animal.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
Food and stuff, and like their preventatives, and just, if you feel like you're going to have to, hurricanes are one thing because you have such a heads up, and tornadoes, tornadoes can be a little bit different because sometimes they, at some point, west of us, most of the time they pop up without warning. Mm-hmm. You can say, hey, the environment is such a way where, we may have some tornadoes, but at some point down the track, that thing just pops up.
Yeah.
Now hurricanes aren't like that because they're originating from a place where there was really no human life.
Yeah.
So they originate from somewhere. You have plenty of time, and they last a while. Mm-hmm. Tornadoes are usually like there and gone in a second.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we're not. Our evacuation might be to a storm shelter.
Well, the crazy thing about this last storm too was there were so many tornadoes. I think there were 211 tornado warnings, which is really rare. There's usually tornadoes, but not that many and not that severe.
Yeah. But so, you're driving 5 minutes down the road to a tornado shelter, or you're going down in your basement or something like that. But for a hurricane, you have so much warning, and those things can last a while. So I could understand not being ready for a tornado, or at least not having a real game plan. But for a hurricane, you can game plan. So just take the stuff that your pet needs, just their daily stuff.
Yeah, and I know we don't like to prep, and if I asked you right now, what is your natural disaster prep kit look like? People probably wouldn't have flashlights, and they wouldn't have batteries, and they wouldn't have a weather radio. We do. It's just nice to know we have it, and once a year we check the batteries, make sure it's all good, just in case we lose. But it's got candles in it, stuff like that, and it's just a nice thing to have. A lot of people think that's kind of crazy, but I don't.
It's not crazy.
No, I think it's smart. I think as you get older, you just get smarter. But it's got a bag of dog food in it. It's got a month of flea and tick stuff in it. And I feel good about that, to know that if for something happens or a tornado does hit the house, it's too late to go looking for the stuff then at least I have it. It's in my to-go bag. It's the one thing I can grab. It comes along with my medications and my kids' stuff and everything else. So it's just probably good to know. And listen, an animal's life's a life too. So we want to make sure that everyone's taken care of. All right. Darkside of the Pooch. I'll ask you at the end of the show if you got anything special, because I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. We've been kind of hit or miss the last few weeks. It sucks. I love talking to you every single week, and my emails are backing up. People are like, where's Darkside of the Pooch? So you had to be on this week. So I'm glad. I don't care what time it is. We had to get you on. I got all kinds of emails.
What time is it? I don't even know what time it is.
It's 8:16 on a Friday morning on October 11th.
That's why I'm feeling so good.
Yeah. Well, you look good. I don't want to start your day off right. I want to start your day off right. A little dose of Tony Curry in the morning is a good thing. This is like along with your Wheaties, you're getting some Tony Curry, so it's good.
Yeah, so I got up. I had my workout. I got my protein drink, and now I got my Tony Curry radio.
There you go. I have a lot of email questions here, and so I'm going to have to pick through them because there's no way we could possibly get through all of them. info@tonycurryradio.net, and keep them coming. It's fantastic. It's one of our most emailed shows. By the way, I've added 3 new shows: Home Field Advantage, K4 Wins, which is a handicapping show. We also have Spy for Rent. They're coming on next week. And as we do more shows, we bring more listeners. The Inferno with UAB is doing really, really well. For good reasons and other reasons, but as high tide comes in, high tide raises all boats, and so all shows are doing fantastic. We greatly appreciate that. From Bippy in Birmingham, can dogs have peanut allergies? Let's broaden this out a little bit. Can dogs have any allergies at all? My dog loves peanut butter. Most dogs do love peanut butter. Can they be allergic to it? And if they are, what happens?
The list that we check for food allergies does not have that on there.
Okay.
So I don't, maybe it's not documented that they have peanut allergies, but they can have food allergies, and their food allergies can either cause GI problems or skin problems.
And it's not something that can kill them.
No, not like an anaphylactic, type thing in pets. No.
Is there a reason why we have peanut allergies and our dogs don't? Because we have a lot of the same things.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure why, we would have one allergy and not the other, but the way that our allergies manifest, we don't get itchy skin from food.
Yeah.
Our throat closes up, and we may have like GI problems like dogs, but our food allergies don't manifest as itchy skin. So it's just it's a different pathway.
Okay. Good stuff. This is from Louise in Birmingham. She says that most cat foods come in those little tins. Those things that stink so bad. Those cat foods stink. I mean, I don't have a cat right now. I had one. It's been gone for like 7 years. I'm hoping it comes back. My cat deal. I mean, I did everything I could to save it. It tried to run away like 6 times, and it's out there somewhere. It's alive, so I'm good with it. But sometimes on occasion, I'll be driving through the neighborhood. I swear I see it. It's like ghost cat. But she says it's really funny that tuna is in the same containers as stinky food. She goes, she's actually, and for some reason, tuna cans for cats look a lot like real tuna cans for humans. She wants to know, can her cats eat tuna fish?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Cats can eat that.
There's nothing toxic to it. Can they have too much of it?
No.
Can they eat it in lieu of cat food?
No, they can't. They can't just eat tuna because it's not going to have, the main thing that it's not going to have is taurine, which is really, really important in cats for their heart function. So there are things in human food that if all you feed is that, it's not that that's going to hurt them. What's going to hurt them is that it doesn't have the stuff in there that they need, like commercial cat food's going to have.
Okay. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net to go along with that same question. I'm going to move this one up. Mark in Hueytown wants to know about, everyone's doing this raw dog food stuff now. Farmer's dog. There's like 15 different places where you're supposed to treat your dog like a human, and you put the stuff in the refrigerator. We've seen the commercials, and it looks like human food. It smells like human food. It's got its own bag. The dog's got its name on it, the whole 9 yards, and it costs you a fortune every month to get that stuff. But evidently there have been several raw dog food companies that have had to have recalls because of listeria and salmonella with their food because it is considered a raw dog food. It's not the crunchy stuff. My first question is, and this through Mark too, can you get any type of recall on hard dog food, crunchy dog food? Is there anything that you can get a type of disease from? And second of all, is this something that the FDA looks through, or is it something the SPO? Who mans this raw dog food thing? Because all of a sudden we have all this raw dog food out here, and it could be killing our pets if it's not looked at very closely.
The governing body for that is AAFCO, AAFCO. Dry dog food and canned dog food, they get recalls too.
Okay. And
it's because the quality control stuff, usually at the manufacturing plant, they pick up on something. It's usually not something that the consumer figures out. Yeah. These commercial operations, they have so many, checks and balances and things to figure out, hey, this quality control is bad and we're seeing this and that. So those companies do a really good job of figuring out what's wrong, before the public does in most cases.
Yeah.
That stuff's out, it may be in stores, but most of the time it doesn't cause a problem before the company figures it out.
Yeah. So we all live socially, economically different. My neighbors across the street had a bigger house, and they used to eat steak 3 days a week. We had a smaller house, very, very happy, but we'd eat shit on a shingle. That's what we'd have. We'd have roast beef or whatever on toast, or we have city chicken. It was chicken on a stick. You remember city chicken? You ever
I think that stuff tastes better.
City chicken. I do too. I look back and I'd love to find me some city chicken. I'd love to find some it's white meat on a stick. It's just, and it's processed and it's fantastic. So people ask me, what do you think? Or they always, I get an email every week. Ask Dr. Rab about this dog food, this farmer's dog. I'm saying farmer's dog. I'm not trying to throw them under the belt because they obviously have something here and it's doing really, really well. And we want to treat our dog. We're treating our dogs more like humans every single day. They're sleeping with us. They're going on vacations with us. They're going in stores with us, doing everything. So, my question is well, I not really question, but I say, is it okay to feed your dog that? And I say, yeah, as long as it's got a couple of important minerals that you mentioned a few minutes ago. But also, some dogs eat, there's not one that's better than the other. My city chicken is just as good as your steak. You may be eating different than I am. I just can't afford to buy stuff for my dog that comes in, a jar with his name on it every month. I just can't. And if you feel good about doing that for your dog, good for you, but it's still healthy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
your dog's not going to be any happier. They got these commercials. Your dog looks happier. He's living longer. He doesn't have arthritis anymore. He's not licking himself. He's not barking at neighbors anymore. It's a bunch of horse hooey because my dog acts the same as everyone else's and eats, although he does love this dog food that Frisco is on. That dog food, what is that EN stuff?
It may have been HA.
Oh my goodness, man! He eats like
the big white ones.
No, it's the little white one. It looks like little Cocoa Puffs, and they're like white.
I think that was HA.
Oh, I've been sprinkling that in on top of his food, and you think I'm putting like filet on top of there? He loves that dog food, but it's expensive.
Dog food is just all marketing. It really is. Mm-hmm. I mean. You come up with something that the public likes and looks good, and you put some good marketing dollars behind it. That's all it is. I've fed my dog dry dog food his whole life, and he's just fine. He's almost 14 years old, mm-hmm. And last night I let him out, and you would have thought he was a greyhound around the track last night. He was, and he's 14 years old, dry dog food. And I don't even give him any treats. I don't, because I've seen time and time again, people love their dogs to death. They give them 10 different treats every day. They give them this crappy dog food. It's bad for their teeth. It's bad for their gut. You can spin it however you want, but the commercial dog food companies, they know what they're doing. They know how to make the food. They know how to make it palatable. They know how to make it healthy. Purina and Royal Canin and Hills they're not billion-dollar companies because they make crappy food that kills your dog prematurely.
There you go. Very good. I had this next door neighbor. Her name was Karen Fey, Fey, and they still live there. She turned out to be just absolutely smoking hot, but she was a lot younger than I was. I was like 16 and she was like 9 or 10, but I ran into a picture of her that I was like, wow, that thing was living next to me all my life. Anyway, she used to love dog food. In the middle of the night,
she would eat it.
She'd go out in the middle of the night, get handfuls of it out of the bag, the garage, and she'd snack on it.
Was she also eating like laundry detergent and glue?
No, but she loved dog food. And we did a little research on this, and this is not a rare thing. And I know it's not a rare thing. At some point, and whether they just get a hold of it, whether it's in the garage or something, kids at some point will try dog food. If you have a dog, they'll reach into its bowl, and next thing you know, Johnny's eating some dog food, and it must taste pretty good. But she now had, let's say she had any psychological problems. She did have really nice teeth, by the way, her entire life.
I thought that was going somewhere else, buddy. I did not think that was going to be the last word in that sentence. And I was like, here we go.
Yeah, she had great teeth. Thank you for keeping it clean. It's early on a Friday morning. But have you known anybody, first of all, that's done that? Because it's a thing, and I looked it up this morning. It is a thing. Some kids just like the taste of dog food, and it could have something to do with wherever you have you ever just had to have a steak or just had to have some peanut butter. Your body's speaking to you, saying, sure. "Listen, you're deficient in this particular vitamin. You need to go to get it," and you just start craving it. Salty. A lot of people crave salty snacks later in the day and stuff like that. And so this is a real thing. But I've always wondered if anyone's ever been into eating the wet stuff. Because the food is disgusting, but I have not seen anything about anyone that's been hooked on wet. And the truth of the matter is, and at least according to the story I pulled up this morning, there's nothing wrong with it. Dog food's not going to kill you, and it's a cheap way of filling up the belly.
Yeah, I've always told people that if it hits the fan, I'll be able to live a while on all this dog food that we have here in the office. I mean, I could probably, I might have a year's worth of food in here.
Yeah.
And I got the X-ray room that's lead lined. So if they, if they drop the bomb, man, like I don't have room for a lot of people, but I can live maybe for a little while, but I don't. There has been one time where a guy came in. He wanted us to start selling these sweet potato treats that he made. And it was all kind of natural thing. He made them at home and he was a nice dude. So, we bought an order of them. And he said, you can eat them. I mean, I can eat them. We can eat them. And that's been the only time that I have eaten something that was specifically made for a dog. And these sweet potato treats were terrible. Like, they were, first of all, you couldn't hardly like break them apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess maybe that's the way he designed them. So the dog would spend time chewing on them,
sure,
because dogs like to chew. But I mean, it was just like, it's not that it tasted bad, but if there's anything on earth where I could say that tastes like cardboard, even though I don't know what cardboard tastes like, it would have been that dog treat.
But maybe it'd be something you just stick in the car and just leave it because, in 20 years, if something happened and you were really, really hungry and you were in the woods or something like that, you could go find that snack and just kind of chew on it.
I have never eaten dog food. I wouldn't be surprised if my 6-year-old had eaten dog food. I need to ask her.
I think you'd be really surprised if you asked every one of your clients, of your children, because parents aren't going to admit to it. But if you said, have your kids ever eaten dog food? I would bet you 50% of your people that have said, oh yeah, my kid used to get in the dog food all the time. And my kids did. Both my kids did. Both my kids ate dog food. I mean, they're sitting on the floor, they're petting the dog while it's eating, they're eating their dog food. I mean, you're like, hey. And then you're thinking, what's the big deal? I mean,
I bet a lot of people have tried it, but not many people make it a routine snack.
No. Darkside, there's a reason for that. Darkside the Pooch, brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics and also Ed's Pet World. They do wonderful work there. 50 years of selling exotic pets and more. And of course, Sasquatch Comics and Toys, brand new. They opened up last October. It's hard to believe it's been open for an entire year. Seth and his entire crew do a great job. They have comic books. They have all kinds of toys that are unopened in the box. Buy, sell, and trade. Check out Sasquatch Toys and Comics. I love when I get an email and someone will throw a question at me and then they don't give me the answer. And then I have to go find it. They're like, hey, ask Dr. Rab if he knows what a yellow ribbon on a leash means. And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay. And then I realized that they have not given me the answer. That's the question. So I already know the answer because I did my homework this morning. I work hard before these shows, so I know what the hell I'm looking like and sounding like and talking about. Do you know what a yellow ribbon is on a leash?
It means that the dog has been specially trained in jiu-jitsu.
You're really close. It actually started in Australia back in 2000, and it is to notify other people that your dog or cat needs space. I hadn't heard of this. I pulled it up this morning and it's true. Evidently there's dogs with yellow ribbon societies and groups of people on Facebook, I'm sure. But yeah,
can I put that on me? Can we start doing that with people?
I think you can. But it really isn't that bad of an idea because normally if you're around a good parent, they'll go ask the man if you can pet the doggy first. Some kids just lumber in and they're like, they're grabbing the dog. They have no clue what your dog's like. It could be a pit bull or anything else. They don't know what your dog's going to do. And you pull back, hold on, my dog's too cool around, especially when there's multiple dogs. But most part, I'm like, you can pet the doggy. He's very friendly and he'll lick you to death. That kind of, and so the kids are cool with it. But if they had a little yellow ribbon around the thing, the problem is do enough people know what that yellow ribbon means? And you're a veterinarian, you don't even know what it means. I'm doubting that the average person at a dog park is going to know what a yellow ribbon around it. But if you wear a yellow ribbon and you're part of that community, hey, leave my dog alone or give my dog some space. That's just another way. I don't know if it would hold up in a court of law, but
more people need to know about that.
Exactly. Final question or info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Great show so far. We are in the middle of October. We have Halloween coming up. We are taking our animals. You and I did a show on this. Publix now has a sign that says dogs not allowed, which I love because people are still walking in the Publix on Valladale. They walk in with their little dogs. They think if you can't see the dog, it doesn't count. I saw a little woman with a little, I forget what kind of Pekingese or some little dog in her purse. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And of course it jumped out and ran down the aisle and they were like, you can't do that, man, blah, blah, blah. But we have a lot of things going on. We have corn mazes. We have wagon rides. We have a lot of socialization going on. We have haunted houses. We have a lot of things that we are going to be doing here in the next few weeks that maybe our pets don't really want to be part of. And for some reason, we think that if our animals like us, oh, Johnny would love a haunted house. No. Or some dogs don't like being on wagons. They don't like it. It skids them out, man. They don't want to be on something that's moving around like that. Can you talk just a little about, know your animal, read the room, know how often your animal wants to be. If your dog's not around a bunch of people all the time, it's probably not going to want to go to Old Baker Farm and go through the corn maze. It probably doesn't. And you're probably not going to want to take it off its leash. And so let's see if he can find his way out, because he's going to not know. He's got to go. But just talk about how we take care of our pets during the Halloween. And there's things going off. There's things attracted by light. There's this skeleton thing next door that scared the hell out of me this morning. I went out to get my mail and it just was sitting right there and it went off. And I was like, geez. I was like, Chris, my neighbor, he's like, isn't it great? And I'm like, no, it's 4:30 in the morning and I don't want that thing. And you could hear it, the entire neighborhood. It worked though. Can you talk about that just a little bit before we let you fly?
I mean, you don't want to like submerge your pet into something crazy for the first time.
Your dog does not want to go through Atrox factory. It does not. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I hope they don't allow that. First of all, second of all, it's just like you need to kind of dip your toe in the water first. I mean, obviously you need to check to see if pets are even allowed at whatever you're doing. But the last thing you want to do is you have a pup. That's the thing is like, you want to expose your puppy to a lot of different things to socialize it, but you also you can't take your puppy to a corn maze when you've never had it in public before.
Yeah.
Use a little bit of common sense and, maybe take it to the dog park first, take it somewhere where there are people and other dogs and maybe loud noises to see how they react. Take it to a daycare, a doggy daycare, take it to a daycare and see how it does. Mm-hmm. Because if it can't interact well and be social in those environments, then taking it to a dark place where there's lots of strange noises and lights and things going crazy, they're not going to be a good fit for that. This
article I was looking up this morning had 4 things to look for in your dog if it's freaking out. And I want to see if one of these things is kind of weird. Averting his gaze. Makes sense. Licking his lips. Why would a dog lick his lips? Dry mouth?
No, I mean, just anxiety or nauseous. Dogs, it's very interesting. When dogs get really stressed out, they vomit. They get nauseous. Okay. We see it all. I shouldn't say we see it all the time, but it's a very common abnormality. When you come into the vet's office, we're doing a physical exam, they're getting vaccines, they get really worked up and they throw up. And so they're nauseous. And one thing that is like a precursor to that is a lot of lip licking and sticking their tongue out.
And
so they're nauseous.
What about yawn? This is yawning here. I can't remember the last time I saw my dog yawn, actually. But
I've heard that too. I've seen and read things that yawning it can be a manifestation of anxiety. So yeah, I've heard that one.
Okay. All right. Great stuff, man. You're the man. Tell people how they can find you and anything going on at the store you want to share with us before we let you fly. Anything magnificent or weird? Any strange things happening there at the store? Normally when it's quiet, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really, it's been all routine stuff. October is one of the traditionally slower months that we have in our field, in our industry. So probably has something to do with that. But you can give us a call, 208-0301. You can email us, rossbridgeanimalhospital@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook.
God bless you, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
See you, buddy.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.